Hey everyone, welcome back to Northside Baseball. Ethan and Brandon here once again to talk about everything going on with the Cubs. Today we are going to talk about a story that's not so fun. Obviously, the Cubs have not been the best team in baseball over the last couple months, and unfortunately, the team they are directly competing with for the NL Central has been the best team in baseball over the last couple months, the Milwaukee Brewers. Obviously, if you've been following the Cubs at all this season, you know that as of like early June, their odds to win the division were creeping up around 80 some odd percent. Currently, as of this recording, before the series against the Blue Jays here in mid-August, those odds have taken a nosedive. Those odds for the division for the Cubs specifically are just around 16% currently. The Brewers own about an 84% share to win the division. Obviously, again, they are on fire right now. I think they're on a 10-game winning streak at this point. It feels like they'll never lose again. Obviously, the Cubs and Brewers have a very important series coming up in a week or so. But yeah, I think again, we've been talking about this, Ethan, for the last couple of weeks, last couple of months, especially when the trade deadline happened and the Cubs didn't make any super huge moves, and people were questioning if they were really confident in their division odds. Obviously, things have not taken a turn for the better in the last couple of weeks. How do you feel about sort of this new playoff odds update?
It's it's unfortunate, but I think as a Cubs fan, even though I'm wearing an Orioles jersey, as a Cubs fan, you have to get used to it at this point. You know what I mean? I think any being in first place at all this season is great, and you can't be there forever. It's going to ebb and flow. And I think we have to take the positive where positive is, and there's still the possibility of us making it to the World Series. Look, we have this lineup of 2025 is still a great lineup. I think there have just been some mishaps, and the Brewers have really locked in right now in the past month or so, and the Cubs have kind of fallen off. And I blame that a little bit on injuries. I blame that a little bit on just maybe I think there's just been a little bit of communication problems, and I think they just need to find their groove again. The question is, do they have the time? Not really. They're on a little bit of a time crunch. I still think they can do it, though. We just got a few new players. One of them got injured after only 2 innings, but still, we have a great, pitcher from the Orioles that they stole from me, and he's been doing really well. And we have a few other, it is what it is at the end of the day. We have new players. We didn't pick up so many, but I think with some adjusting, there's still time to improve. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, it's worth keeping in mind and remembering that even if the Cubs don't win the division, which was the stated goal of this team at the onset of the year, it would be very important for the Cubs to do so and try to get one of those first round buys in the National League. But they are still the first wild card in the NL. They have a sizable margin. Play again, just because their division odds have taken a nosedive, their odds to make the playoffs are still near 100%. I mean, this is still a really good team, even though they're below 500 since the All-Star break at the time of this recording. Again, hopefully the offense will pick back up. Hopefully, pitchers will get healthy again soon, and they can give the Brewers a run for their money, especially in that 5-game series. But I think it's just important to remember that this is sort of the nature of baseball. If the Cubs played in any other division right now, they would be within a game of the division lead or have the division lead. They don't play in any other division. The Brewers are the best team in baseball at this current moment, so they have to deal with the circumstances. And obviously, again, part of that is they have to win against the Brewers when they play them in that 5-game series next week, because that's the last time they'll play them. That's going to be their last chance to directly sort of influence the Brewers' outcomes. And obviously, the Cubs have not been playing well recently, so hopefully they can turn it around before then. But I think ultimately it's a somber update because again, in conjunction with the Michael Soroka injury and now the trade deadline sort of flub that they had, it's all sort of feels like it's just everything is coming down on the Cubs. When it rains, it pours sort of thing. Again, Ethan and I have sort of preached patience a little bit here, but there's still time in the season. The Cubs have an easier schedule, after they face the Brewers than the Brewers do after they face the Cubs. So I'm not ready to give up on the NL Central, but I will say that given the way the Brewers are playing and given the way that the Cubs are playing, it is starting to look exceedingly likely that the Cubs are going to have to make it happen through the wild card.
The one point I'll also make is that we've gone up against the Brewers already once, and the first two games in July were abysmal. It was 4-8 the first game, 3-9 the second game, but then we got to turn it around again, 10-3 the third game. And That's not terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible either. But I always go back to when we played the Dodgers earlier this year in Japan, and then when we went back again and played them. We got creamed by the Dodgers, and then we came back and we beat the Dodgers tenfold. So if we can beat the Dodgers, we can beat the Brewers. And I'm here to preach positivity. I'm also a realist, and I want to say, is it possible that we're gonna, crap the bed? Sure, that's a possibility too. But at the end of the day, our wild card standings look very well as well. And there are, as you look at from every year, there are many times where teams hit the wild card slot and they made it all the way to the World Series. So at the end of the day, keep a positive attitude. That is the moral of this story. But as always, we'd love to hear your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Do you think that we can beat the Brewers? I'd like to believe so. Do you think that we're going to make it to the World Series, whether that be through the wild card or through any other means, through the deities up above? Let us know in the comment section below.